Hey everyone, hopefully you're having a good day. My name's Andy, my channel's Finding Value. Today we're going to go over our daily technical analysis update of gold and silver. We're going to hit on the dollar, the 10-year yield, some precious metals, what they're doing, and then also in the individual companies and ETFs. Again, I just kind of randomly threw these companies together to gauge what the sector's doing. You can obviously apply it to other companies within the sector. I think, throw in a couple of other companies. Hopefully I threw them in there. I'll throw in Arcana Silver. I'll do that right now. I think someone wanted me to throw that one in. Okay, I threw that one in for you guys. So let's dive in here and we'll take a look at it. It's just my financial opinion. Please don't use it as advice. And here we go. So we're starting with the dollar. The dollar's been moving up. It's been chopping sideways recently. Just been going sideways. We had a small little update today, 0.13%. And I think eventually this is going to run into pressure and start to fall from the inflation that we've created. This is always basically has fallen over time when we've entered expansionary phases of real estate. In 99, 2000, it rolled over in 01, 02, and we're coming into similar conditions here recently with an expansion phase. Now, it may take a little bit. It may still continue to go up a little bit more, but we're entering an expansion phase, and usually the dollar gets weaker under those conditions, usually. And it takes a little bit of time in an expansion phase to do that. The 10-year yield was lower today, about 2% lower. You can see it right there on that last candlestick. And we're in this channel. We've got this channel here that I've drawn in here that we've been going back and forth in. And this is kind of a reverse inverted head and shoulders, where yields could potentially break higher. And if they raise rates, then they're going to let the yields go up. But they've been holding this, I think, down recently. Gold has been in this channel. We've been rocking back and forth in the channel. I'm suspecting that we're going to see a break to the upside. I'm very confused on why we haven't yet. Maybe someone's playing with the numbers a little bit. We had a hammer pattern yesterday. We were up today, 11.7%. Hopefully we can keep that momentum moving to the upside and see some more upside pressure tomorrow. Buying pressure, that is. Silver's doing quite well. It's just amplifying the move of gold. Looking at this, we're in this big pattern. We've got a nice kind of hammer pattern today where we opened here, it traded lower, and then buyers came and bought it back up throughout the day. So that's positive. Looks good. And there's your big pattern there that we're in, that we're trying to move forward with. Platinum had a little bit of a down day today, very small down day of $8. We had big buying pressure maybe a week ago or so. Well, it'd be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 trading days ago. Big buying pressure. We're kind of leaking off a little bit. This does very well with higher inflation. We've got high inflation, so we just have to wait and see where this thing's going to go. I think it's going to go higher. We've got the pattern break on the big picture view to the upside. It came back, and now we just got to rock it. We got to rock it higher. XAU to gold ratio, again, we're up a little bit today, 0.9% on the daily candlesticks. This is we're heading on up a little bit. We still got work to do to break through that resistance area up here. We break through that line, we are gone. We are gone. And we need gold to follow suit. So let's just be patient. I've got a lot kind of riding on this with the gold and silver miners and a mutual fund that I've got. So that's how I'm playing it. Karora Resources. Big picture view, we're hugging the upper end of this long-term channel that we're in. This is a very big base that we can break from and move substantially higher from. So that's good. We just got to break it and go. EXK has got another large pattern that we're trying to break. That's the big boy pattern. We're kind of stuck trying to get through this resistance on the short term here. And that's kind of where we're at the moment. Delete some of this stuff out. Came on up. We're pulling back. We've got the resistance right ahead of us. Right on top of our head. Now, SILJ, this is SILJ that we've got here. Big pattern. We just got to work our way and break to the upside of it eventually. Bullish engulfing on the daily candlesticks, which is good for a move higher. So broken downtrend, we pull back a little bit, and we're putting in a bullish engulfing, and hopefully we can keep going up. This is a bullish piercing yesterday on GDX, so good start, good buying pressure. Looks like we're coming out of this little resistance area with a strong move to the upside, so that's good. We're still in this pattern here in a descending wedge, so that's what we've got. Metallic minerals moving up 2.86%. This one looks really good where it's positioned, and I would just hold on and do nothing. Discovery silver, big buying pressure, small selling pressure. Looks good. The buyers are in control. Hopefully we can keep moving on higher. This one is First Majestic. What gets me on First Majestic is this massive pattern that we're building out here. And we're still in the pattern. You still have time to buy cheap shares. And I'm sure everyone's thinking, oh, it's not going anywhere. It will, guys. Like down here is a really good price to cost average in a little bit and hold on. But again, that's just my opinion. Maybe it's going to take a little bit longer than what I think. Maybe it's going to take another year or two before rocketing out of this big old pattern that we're in. And it's possible. Newmont, big buying pressure on the monthly candlestick basis here. I'm just going to kind of get these out of here. Zooming in on it on the dailies, we're continuing to drive higher. We broke out of this resistance area in here to the upside, and hopefully we can work our way up to the upper end of this massive pattern that we've got, and then eventually break through it. But it looks like we're primed to do that at some point here, hopefully soon. Mag Silver's come all the way back to its support area. This is the support line I've got drawn in. It's been dancing on the support line. Not a bad spot to be, maybe accumulating a little bit of shares if you guys like Mag Silver. Yamana Gold, another one that looks pretty good. Descending wedge pattern. We break this to the upside. We're going to see a big move. And we've got a massive pattern behind it. So, I think it's just a matter of time before we keep crawling higher. Impact Silver, again, broke this pattern. Looks kind of like a cup and handle pattern. If we can start moving on up here. Arcana Silver Corporation. Someone wanted me to chart this guy. So looking at it, it's got all these big wicks at the bottom and stuff. We've got a lot of sell-off here recently. So you kind of can throw a line in there. And that's kind of a support resistance line. I mean, it could come all the way back. It could dive down. Let's look at the daily candlesticks. Daily, I mean, we're in a downtrend here. Tried pulling higher. We pulled back some. With this big sell-off here, there's still momentum that's working off here. So it's probably going to chop sideways back and forth for a little bit. But, I mean, if you guys like Arcana, I think this is one that was going into production in Colorado. I think this is... So, I mean, it's up to you on what you guys want to do if you want to pull the trigger. Do I see strength here? Not really. Not yet. Not yet. But it could. I mean, this could turn at any second. So... if you want to cost average in, that would be my approach. Is I'd buy a little bit, buy a little bit, buy a little bit, and just keep buying a little bit if it's down here. And hopefully we get a move higher. Sandstorm Gold looks like it's coming out of its bottom. I did buy and add in quite a little good stake in here, which is good. And I'm still holding on, guys. I think this is a good spot. It's right at support. So I added a little bit into Sandstorm Gold. I did add into Franco Nevada. This is another one that I like around this support line. This is a big old pattern that's developing. It'll eventually break to the upside, given, I mean, this might take a year or two to break through all this. EMX, Royalty, another one that I hold, came on up, broke to the upside, and did a return move. So this one's looking decent. We do still have some selling pressure over here, where the buyers and sellers are kind of battling it out down here. Teuton Resources, one that I do own. It's coming down here at the support line, playing with it continuously now. Hopefully we don't break down and move lower, which is a possibility. Doesn't mean it will, but it's a possibility. We'll see what gold does. Wheaton Precious Metals, this is one of my largest holdings, Franco-Nevada and Wheaton Precious Metals. I've been holding it for a long time. I keep adding in. Anywhere that's low, I add in, and we're in this little pattern here. Eventually going to try to break out. This one Gold Royalty bought me out when I was in Ely Gold, and I've just been holding the shares. It's in this big pattern that's wedging up here. Metalla Royalty is another one. I don't own a ton in it, but coming on up. It bounced off its support line here on the monthly basis. It's probably going to close above it. Probably not a bad spot to be looking at it if you guys like Metalla Royalty. And there is a possibility, guys, that still, if this breaks to the downside and we have a bigger pullback, there is still that possibility on all these companies. Mavericks Metals broke to the downside already. And that's where we're at. We broke to the downside. We almost hit our projected move to the downside. And we'll see where we go from there. Royal Gold still in its pattern here. We've been moving on up. This one's pretty strong. I do like it. It is, you could consider this almost a ascending type wedge pattern, which could mean we break to the downside, but if gold goes higher, I don't see how that would be the case. And Osisko Gold Royalty, we got this big old pattern that's developing. We need to break it to the upside and start moving. Daily candlestick, we got a nice good buying pressure today, 2.11%. We're bounced off this support, and hopefully we can head on higher and break, make a run at this break out resistance area. So overall, I mean, gold was pretty strong today. Let's see what it ended up at. About $11 up today. Silver was up 24 cents. So, good job, gold and silver. And we saw that with lower yields and a dollar that was slightly higher. So it seems like yields are having a large impact on gold and silver. Usually it's weaker dollar, lower yields, and it like massively goes up. So I think that we're going to have higher yields, lower dollar. That's kind of the scenario that I'm seeing. And I think eventually when money starts to flow out of bonds, whenever that may be, and it may not, I mean, it may take a long time, flows into our gold stuff. So that's kind of the dynamic that I see. It hasn't happened in a huge way yet, but it looks like the patterns are all aligning for that to happen. So we've got a little bit more time ahead of us before it breaks. I mean, it could break at any point from now till 2 years from now, 3 years from now. Remember, these usually get going when money starts getting into the system from the expansion phase of real estate. We have money in the system from other types of spending. So that's also in the system. So hopefully that gets the juices flowing and it all comes in and pushes these assets higher. If you guys like this analysis, give me a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And thank you for listening. This is Finding Value.